This conference will now be recorded.
The time being 4:51 p.m., I'd like to call the meeting of February 16th, 2023 to order. First order of business is the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Just note that Selectman Jessamine will not be with us this evening. He has a personal issue that he is handling and dealing with. Our first order of business this evening will be to ask our land use coordinator, Leanne Moynihan, to discuss with us some earth moving permitting.
I thought she was just here to answer questions.
Oh, just answer questions with, okay. So if we need her to answer questions, sorry. So you, just so people know you're in the room. The earth moving permitting questions that had arisen, Mr. Scanlon.
So there were a bunch of calls that I had received regarding, because everybody saw the earth moving around inside the U-Haul area as well as the preserve, and then other people asked about the other at the dialysis center. I don't know if there was another one, but yeah. And so a little bit of research was done. I sent some mail to Leanne about it, and there were some permits that needed to be followed up on to get them rectified and signed. So I think we have one, don't we, to sign now?
So we're talking about two different things. One is the intent to excavate. The other is a special permit from the ZBA. You're talking about permits that we needed.
As well as there's a special permit from ZBA, which is the 3.2.2 permission,
right?
As well as the
intent to excavate.
Yeah.
So the intent to excavate, I think Pat had them. I just had a quick conversation with her about what they are. They're there now. They just need to be signed. You did sign off on one for the dialysis center already. Just know that those are intent to excavates, and those are for taxation purposes. They're not a permit to allow them to do anything. It's just so that when and if they move material, that DRA has been notified, Department of Revenue. It's not DES isn't involved in that at all, and it's for taxation purposes. But yeah, you have both of them. You have everything now for those. They just need to be signed and sent to Department of Revenue so that they can tax them if they move, because they have to report when they're complete how much was moved.
And then the other permits are ZBA for special permit for actual removing of any earth materials, any earth 3.2.2, and that's scheduled for Tuesday the 21st here before the ZBA to grant those or whatever provisions for the special permit for moving of earth for all three.
Yeah, it was. I will say a quick thank you to Leanne, because I came down just to find out more about it, and I got a very good, thorough education in terms of our own permitting requirements and then the state's permitting requirements. So it was a good, fast, quick class on that. So thank you. Any other questions from the
So
board?
once now they go to the ZBA and they get a permit from them, they can excavate and leave Tilton with the earth. Am I correct?
So my understanding from the ordinance is there's no provision for what they can and cannot do. There's the sentence in the ordinance simply says that any earth removed, doesn't say topsoil, just any earth removed from these particular districts, mostly all the districts with the exception of the village and mixed use, must get a special permit, period. So what is involved, the criteria, the limitations, the conditions, they don't really, the ordinance doesn't go that far as to be specific. There's nothing in the ordinance that says they cannot remove it or that the special permit is limiting in any way. So it doesn't say in town, out of town, doesn't designate topsoil versus other soil. It just says you need the special permit, and the ZBA is to issue it in the best interest of the town. So since I've been here, we haven't done any of those. I was not aware of it in the ordinance. I am now. So pretty much every project that comes through this town from now on will be required to have that, because I believe every project removes some amount of earth. It doesn't even give you a quantity. It just says earth. So it's not like over, even the intent to excavates, it's anything over a certain amount. And the state permitting per RSA 155E does not require permitting if it's subordinate to construction. They really are monitoring mining, which is what I was referring to when I sent an email, I think that you commented, Pat. So, but yours isn't specific for mining or anything, it just says earth moving, you need a special permit. So out of town, in town, topsoil, everything, you need this special permit. And I guess it's up to the ZBA to make those determinations.
I think that's where I was getting really confused with the emails going back and forth, because unfortunately I'm not as up to date on land use and ZBA as I would like to. And when you were talking about mining, and then I remember through being a selectman, we actually went out and fined some people because they did remove earth from different projects and actually resold the earth. So in some of the emails were saying, no, the language says this, and then other people were saying, no, the language says this, and now we're going to the ZBA, but then it was very confusing to me, the communications back and forth, and that's why I had asked you the question that
I don't know anyone who said, I didn't see anything in the emails of anyone that said that there was anything different, but that's my experience. In my previous job, we had quite a few excavation pits. We had 5 excavation pits in our town. So the ZBA does have jurisdiction over controlling that mining and with a plan. So that's where I was referencing. But again, your permit is for everybody, special permit, period. And they're coming to ZBA and they will issue it.
So
I don't have anything else in the ordinance, or I don't, John, if you know of anything different than I, but that's there's only a small section in the ordinance on excavation, and that's what it says. Now, as far as selling, that same ordinance does go on to say if you are bringing in topsoil for the purpose of selling it, you are allowed, but you may need to go before the ZBA for that. That's if you're bringing it in and selling it. Again, that's all it says. I've probably read it about 50 times now in the past 4 or 5 days.
So the exact wording on that, I have it in front of me, is topsoil or loam purchased from another locality and brought into the town of Tilton for the purpose of resale is permitted. However, proof of such transactions may be required by the Zoning Board of Adjustment.
Oh, where did I read that this was going to dirt doctors in Pembroke?
It is, the preserve is sending their unusable material to Dirt Doctor. They're taking their unusable, the stumps and the rocks and the unusable dirt is going to Dirt Doctor. They're not bringing it in. What he just read is if
So
you
they're
are,
taking it out and bringing it to Pembroke to dirt doctors. So
get
what
rid
is
of.
dirt doctors going to do with it?
I don't know, but what he just, I don't know what Dirt Doctor's going to do
So
with it.
dirt doctors is a resale place.
Yeah, I don't know what they're doing with it.
Okay.
Possibly they're reselling it. The sentence in the ordinance speaks to if you bring it in and resell it here, but
So we're actually talking about 3.2.2, if you could read that.
Abs- would you like me to?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I
Yep.
don't.
Yep. So excavation regulations 3.22 for the town of Tilton. No person, firm, or corporation shall remove earth from the rural agricultural, downtown, regional commercial, resort commercial, general commercial, or industrial park districts within the town of Tilton without a special permit issued by the zoning board of adjustment. The zoning board of adjustment shall make its determination to issue said permit and may set such restrictions as are just and in the best interest of the town of Tilton. Topsoil or loam purchased from another locality and brought into the town of Tilton for the purpose of resale is permitted. However, proof of such transactions may be required
3.22?
by the zoning board of adjustment. It is
3.22.
amended 3/8/2005.
So what's happening is on the 21st, they'll be having a hearing on that, and ZBA will make a determination as to what restrictions, right, I think as it stated there, or conditions or anything on that material. It's after the fact, but we're getting it done. So some stuff has been removed, some earth has been removed already, but that's up to ZBA to determine how they want to handle that.
Pat?
So the earth are they continuing to remove earth this week? Have they stopped removing earth until they go to ZBA?
I can't answer that.
So
I know they're
nobody-
moving a lot of the soil over to another part of their site where they're saving all that soil. I haven't been down to monitor if they're
So
removing
nobody
any of
from the town of Tilton has said, stop what you're doing because 3.2.2 is in violation.
Correct.
Nobody said that.
No, but I didn't say it. No.
Well, I think that we should notify the people that until ZBA makes a ruling and a decision on it and issues that special permit, that they should not be continuing to remove it from the site. They can move it around their site according to that as much as they want, but should not remove it until after that decision. I'm sure as it's in the best interest of the town, that it would be granted, but technically they don't have permission to do it yet. So I think we should notify them until after ZBA rules on it that no material should leave sites.
When I came down with Leanne, I then went back later that evening and just took a look through some of the state stuff. And I think I'll be very straightforward. I think we need to be very careful there because if we're talking about I'm talking about the preserve situation, in state RSA 15E2A, there are other exceptions. It says no permit shall be required for the following types of excavations. A is excavation that is exclusively incidental to construction or alteration of a building or structure, or the construction or alteration of a parking lot or way, including in a driveway on a portion of the premises where the removal occurs. I can go on to read the rest of it, but I mean, I've noticed the fact that they've obviously pulled out the foundations of the old buildings. They've obviously pulled up some of the roadway that's there too. So I think it would be very difficult for us to figure out whether if they were taking that and that waste material off premise, that's not technically the earth. It's stuff that they're allowed to move and alter and remove from their excavation site. So we have to obviously protect our own. We have to protect 322, but in that case, I think it would be very difficult to discern unless they know exactly how much dirt was coming off from the foundations that were pulled in the roadways too.
Well, I believe that our ordinance oversees that and that we should do it properly as we have in the past. We've actually fined people for this before. And it's been to town meeting numerous times, and the ordinance was written by planning
Yep.
and years ago. and has been to some minor modifications to it over the years by the town meeting and voted in as an official ordinance. And that's a rule. That's the way we do things. And we've always required everybody else to do it. And it's not just the preserve, it would be anybody that's doing it right now should stop and follow the proper procedure. When they got their original permits to go forward, I believe it was all under that they shall follow all ordinances in towns and permitting as required by the town and the state, and that it was required. So I think we need to stop until they abide by that. Anybody doing any type of development and follow what we've always done.
Yeah, I can't argue with that they do need to file for that special permits in the ordinance. Just be aware that they have really done nothing wrong. They were not aware of it. I was not aware of it. Our engineer who reviews the ordinance wasn't aware of it. They did go through zoning and planning, and no one really flagged it, which, I mean, the buck stops with me, but as soon as they were aware of it, if this gives any value to them or in your decision, I mean, all of them responded immediately. They all file their paperwork immediately. Also, they will do anything they need to do it. They all are very aware of their environmental responsibility. I would say of all the 3 projects, and I'd say the preserve even more so because they're looking to keep that uh, as a preserve. There are trees that are not being taken down for that particular reason. So I do believe they're all acting very responsibly, and we will get them filed. I guess I could say is I encourage the town to work with them as good citizens. It's only Tuesday. It's a holiday weekend. I mean, again, you can make the decision you want to make, but I just wanted to say that they have been very cooperative and in taking care of their land. So that's all I have to say.
Pat,
Um, Again, I'll say that I'm not up to date on rules and regulations, but I spent hours looking at 15E. It's 81 pages. I printed it out. I spent hours reading it. I spent hours going over the state regulations and our own ordinances and talking with prior people on the board and also the planning chair. And then I reviewed prior videos of the planning board meetings. And it was very clear and definitive that it was discussed at a planning board meeting that there was no earth to be removed at a meeting. And you were there at the meeting at the time. And the chair was there and also Selectman Scanlon. So I find this very difficult for me, not knowing which way to turn and how much we need to go forward with this. But I find it very disturbing that we've done this in the past and we've followed it to the T in the past, and we've said, no, we have an ordinance and you can't do this. But yet we have a multi-million-dollar business coming in and they're not supposed to be doing something. And we've said this all week, and there's emails flying back and forth, and we say, no, it should be a cease and desist until they go to the planning board, the ZBA. And I went to the chair of the planning board again, and she indicated very clearly that it should be a cease and desist until they go to the ZBA. And yet I'm hearing from here that no, nobody's told them a cease and desist. We're just going to sit here and wait until the 21st because there is a holiday here, and let's just work with them because it's a business. Well, it's the law. I don't get this. What are we doing? We're just going to say, okay, they're a business and we're just going to work with it. So what happens with the people that we've fined in the years before that do they come back and sue us because we didn't do it? We did it for them and we're not doing it for these people? I mean, we have to look at that too. Is this a lawsuit waiting to happen on that end? I don't know.
Can I just make just one point of clarification? We had and this board can decide to go whatever way they want. But as far as the planning board, and John is here, we did have a planning board meeting last night. And it was brought up by the planning board chair, who said, and I have the minutes, who said everything is all set and cleared up and was no further action. John, I believe you supported that with a statement about that they were moving material around on the site and that we were on the right track. So it's not like the planning board has been directing the staff or the office to cease and desist. I've never heard anyone direct me to give a cease and desist from the planning board. So I'm, just to correct the record for that, my planning board chair and my rep from the selectmen last night did not give me any indication that I was to take any action. And John, you can speak to that because I know you were there.
Sure. So what I had stated was that they are moving material on site. I have no evidence or no proof or anything, only hearsay that stuff has been removed from the site. I have never saw it. Yeah, I never saw it, so I can't say they're doing it. But I did, and I have said repeatedly that if they're going to do it, and I requested a cease and desist, I sent that out stating that they should not be removing any material, that this is easily fixable. But until then, a cease and desist from removing materials from the site until the 21st after ZBA gives them permission. And I clearly said that in emails and everything. I requested, I sent it to the chairman. And, all these things, when you run into problems like that, there are opportunities for solutions. And the solution is to stop, go forward in the proper manner, and file for the special permit from the ZBA, which I believe that they would issue it on Tuesday. It's only a few days, and I think as a board that we should go and request that until Tuesday. We only have tomorrow, Friday, Monday's a holiday, and Tuesday's the meeting. A little late, but we're doing it properly because it's been brought to the board's attention. I, as a planning board member, can't not do that. I, as a selectman, can request that. I can't do it alone. I can suggest it and request it, and that's what I'm doing right now. I'd like to make a motion that we issue a cease and desist to them until after they meet with the ZBA, who will issue them a special permit with whatever requirements that they have. And that's my motion. All projects. Yeah, I'm not naming anybody individual or anything else in town, that it should stop until they meet with ZBA and follow the proper procedure. But that's my motion.
I'll second it for discussion.
Motion and a second discussion. Mr. Pyra.
Selectman Constantino just made a few statements that I'd like to get cleared for the record, because you indicated that there was a discussion about a cease and desist in an email format, which would be illegal. I'm not aware of any discussion that happened over email regarding that, because I know I personally did not respond to any emails that were sent by other members of the board regarding any of these issues. So I just, the way I heard it was that it was insinuated that this was discussed in email format, which would be highly improper for us to do as a board, to discuss something like that in through email format. So, but the other questions I have is, what is the date of the meeting that you referenced that you watched on video where it was discussed at a planning board meeting?
I don't remember. I have it written down on my folder that I have the 155 printed out on. There were 4 people present. It wasn't, if you want me to run home and get it, I can.
And then my next question is, what fines have we issued in the past and when?
I have those written down as well. It may be in my email as well. Hold on a minute.
Mr.
Chairman.
Scanlon.
Yes, my email requesting a cease and desist was also for an emergency meeting of the Board of Selectmen that was sent directly to the chairman of the Board of Selectmen, which is the proper procedure for emergency meeting. And the reason why was to decide on a cease and desist and do that. And I sent that out last week, and that was not a conversation. That is the proper procedure for me to do, is to notify the chairman of the board and request an emergency meeting and a cease and desist, and the reason why. Was an ongoing back and forth email.
I know one of the, I have them written down, and I'm sorry I didn't bring my packet. A lot of things going on, but one of the things that permits that were issued, violations issued was Conover's Lowe's. That was a big one.
John, for clarification on what you're asking for in the motion, are we looking at cease and desist from just removal of earth from the site or all operations?
Oh, no, just, yeah, I should clarify that. It's only for the removal of earth from the site per paragraph 3.2.2. That's
Okay.
it. They
That-
can continue shuffling it around or anything they want to do on their site because they have all the permits for that. And all that's in order. It's only a couple days. Just don't put it in trucks and take it out. They can pile it up and have it ready, but it's only a couple days. And I think that's the proper way to do that, because they're working in violate. If they haul anything out, it's in violation.
Mr. Pyra.
I'm worried about protecting the town liability on this, where this was an error made by the town, not by the projects, for lack of a better word. And I would worry about the legality or what potential lawsuits could be filed against the town if we're halting their progress and costing them money because of an oversight made by the town of Tilton. And I would like the town administrator to seek legal counsel to make sure that we're not going to potentially be setting ourselves up for a lawsuit down the line. And I understand it's a short time, I get that, but I'd rather protect. I think we also have to look at protecting the town.
I'd like to get a copy of what the conditions for approval were for each site, because I believe it says that they must abide by all ordinances in town and state. So that would be their agreement. Pretty simple thing. Just, we got a thing to go forward. Don't have to make a big deal out of it. Errors were made or oversights, and we've got a plan and a procedure. We've got the whole thing going forward to rectify it and get us back on track.
So when I'm sorry, Eric, go ahead.
I was just going to say, since the chairman has a computer up, that would be in the minutes, would it not, of the date of approval of those projects?
I'm sorry, I didn't get the question.
Sorry. The conditions of approval are read into the minutes, correct? So if we knew the date, the chair could look up for all 3 projects, could look at the conditions of approval that were issued by the planning board on the minutes.
That report that was sent to us.
Okay.
Microphone.
But John, I mean, the conditions all say they have to meet all state, local, and federal requirements unless they're waived. And again, the developers believe that they were. I think Eric's point was they didn't know that there was that outstanding ZBA permit. Because like I said, they came to the ZBA, so but it is outstanding. I mean, we all recognize that.
John, maybe I'm just to suggest, maybe we amend just to have the specificity of this, for the specificity of no, just,
3.2.2.
yeah, that you would just be requesting that from now until the,
Approval
until the approval is given, that there's no removal from the
of
site.
just the
because-
3.2
Just
restriction.
Yeah, just a suggestion.
I'll amend that if we want to do it that way, and if this second
Gene?
wishes to.
I just have a question for Leanne. So am I actually understanding this correctly, that you do not at this time feel that they're in violation? As of now, right today, Thursday, 2/16, they're not in violation of any of the ordinances or?
I mean, you use the word violation. They do not have a special permit. I didn't see, I guess the way I understand it is I didn't see any of the special permits ever not issued. So, and I don't know, I guess I'm not really sure I understand, and I would like to hear what the end game is. Like, what are you trying to prevent them from doing? You don't want them removing, like, what's the purpose of the special permit? So that you know that they're removing earth, so that you limit the quantity of earth? I'd be interested to know so that I can direct the ZBA. What is the limitation? Like, what?
So if we have a land use coordinator that doesn't understand our ordinance, how can we enforce that tonight?
Well, because the special permit doesn't give you any criteria.
No.
So we've had, in other towns I've worked, we've had some permits that are required for excavation, but they tie to these conditions. You must only haul during certain times. You're limited to how much you can remove. It's a form. This is a very broad statement of just special permit, is all the ordinance directs me to, a special permit. But I'm not really sure what the limitations are or the criteria for not removal of earth. That's my question for Tilton. I don't understand what that purpose is. All the ordinance says is you issue a special permit. Doesn't define, there's no definition in your ordinance of what a special permit is. There's no forms attached to that. In the past, when I looked at the previous special permits that were issued, they used a special exception form, which is written per an RSA, that has specific criteria, and they just crossed out the word exception and wrote permit on it, and then threw away the criteria page and went to the zoning board. That was the history when I did the research to understand what they're looking for in conditions or limitations in the town for the excavation. And I didn't really get any answers other than they wanted to go before the ZBA so that they know that they're doing it. So that is my question.
Mr. Scanlon.
So the ordinance says you can't do it, period. You cannot remove any earth from the town without special permit from ZBA. ZBA can decide, and they are the sole authority for deciding what they can do. And that's it. We have no jurisdiction over it unless somebody appeals it. But until then, they just can't do it. They cannot remove earth from that. That's the way it is. And they go to ZBA, and ZBA will discuss what's in the best interest of the town, as I think as it states, and which includes economic development or commercial property, or may say, this is in another case that it might be farmland and somebody's selling all the loam off of a farmland, and that depletes our natural resources of the town. The idea is to protect the natural resources, but the people who have the jurisdiction on it, it's no until CBA says, yeah, you can, or there's conditions that they want. They kind of have full reign on that, and that's the way it's written. And I mean, we can't read anything more into that. There's no submission of any numbers or anything. That could be changed at um, further time, at a different time for submitting, changes to that ordinance and clarifying it or whatever. But they would just write out, yeah, we issue special permit to remove in the conditions that they have, whether there are any or not.
Yeah,
But-
as I think, as you said, John, and just looking at it, it's open-ended in terms of what you're talking about, amount, the cubic foot. I mean, they could do 1 billion cubic feet if they wanted to, as long as they have the special permit.
Hmm.
So,
This ordinance originated, the intent was back in the days of farming, the farmers would go in and clear out and sell the topsoil, and then there was no growth. And that's why they developed this ordinance, because they were taking too much of the farmlands. So that's why they developed the ordinance. That's what I've been told.
yeah, you go back far back in the Concord Monitor 2001, when they actually had an article talking about the Home Depot site
Right.
on this ordinance.
Right.
So,
That's a perfect
yeah,
site
with
to.
the Home Depot site talking about the ordinance. And when I quickly read that article, I think, I don't know if it still stands now, but at that point in time, we had the second toughest ordinance in terms of earth removal in the state after Samberton, which you can't move anything in Samberton apparently. So, but that's neither here nor there. You had suggested the amendment
Yes, the amendment to read special
Was it?
permit per
to cease,
3.2.2. It only applies to the 3.2.2 activities.
so
earth
that
removal.
the amendment, and correct me if I'm wrong, is that amend to that they should not be removing any soil until the permit is issued, but they can
Or any
continue
earth, yeah.
excavation, continue working on the site.
Any earth, yeah.
Any earth.
All work can continue. And I would believe that they probably already have, knowing this, they're very reputable people that we're dealing with here. And it's just an oversight, and it's an opportunity to get it corrected, and a good path for doing that. We're on that. It's all set up. It's already been publicly noticed for doing it. Thanks for, I don't know when you got that in there, but just in time. Just in time. So it's been publicly noticed and everything. And anybody that has any comments or anything as to how much or how little can go to ZBA, but it's not my purview to make that decision as to whether they can or can't. I can just say, I think as a selectman that we have to say that was an oversight, and that to wait until after they have their ZBA permit.
I think
Make it
this would
official.
be the perfect one, eligible for a rewrite for the town meeting next year.
Clarification.
Yep, to be more clarified. It's much more out there. It does need to be more clarified.
I'll move to question. All those in favor of the amended motion, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed?
Nay.
3-1, motion passes. So, we're
Wait,
good.
didn't we have to vote on, we voted on the
Amended.
amended, so
go
now
back.
we have to vote on
On
the
the
actual,
motion,
Okay.
on the motion.
that becomes the motion.
So all those in favor of the motion, please indicate by saying aye.
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 Opposed?
Nay.
Motion passes 3-1. All set? We all set with that?
Yeah.
So, Leanne, thank you for coming in on your day off.
Thanks, Leanne.
Appreciate it.
So I just, a point of clarification on that motion. So is that a directive to me for tomorrow, which I am going to Boston for a medical issue tomorrow, to issue a cease and desist tomorrow until the meeting? Is that what, I guess I can do it over the weekend? I don't know. I am not here. I have to be in Boston first thing in the morning. I guess that's not your problem. I just want to make sure I got the direction right so I can either delegate this to someone tonight. You want this to go out, I assume, first thing in the morning tomorrow, because otherwise it's kind of pointless. Tomorrow's Friday.
Yes,
You made a motion for cease and desist, so that means,
this is just on removal of earth. That's
Just
it. Everything else good.
3.2.
Just on removal of earth until the permit is granted.
So okay, so I will just send an email, I guess, out tonight to the projects, and that's how they want it. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, just make sure it's real clear. It's only for that one thing. Just not take the material off the site.
Next up, we will have moderator Helen Hanks on the 2023 elections and town meeting. That's Mr. Pearson's show, the
What do you
podium.
want me to say? All right. I'm here to testify on Senate Bill. Oh, sorry, wrong meeting. That was earlier today. Thank you for the record. Helen Hanks, I'm the town moderator. I appreciate the opportunity to come before you today and talk about the civic opportunity for individuals to pursue their right to vote. I saw that the hours are posted 7 to 7. That's wonderful. And our deliberative session will be adjourned that Saturday. And just wanted to talk about the fundamentals of the layout will be the same. It's the same opportunity. The only piece that could change slightly is the prospective number of voters will likely change. And so the tables that we have historically put out the last time, 2 times, we could put, say, 2 less, but I don't think that's significant enough. If Public Works can continue to do the layout and schedule through the town administrator, who's been incredibly helpful in doing that coordination on behalf of the selectmen, I'd continue to recommend it. People have commented each time as they voted that they really enjoy and with the way in which we've set up the space. They feel safe in the space. It balances everybody's perspective on the current state of our nation. And then the following deliberative session, historically, we've received support through members of the Wisconsin School District with audio and visual resources. The one piece I would ask of the selectmen, because I haven't had a chance to check in with the previous moderator, Chuck Mitchell, is the laptop that's been used to show the warrants, which I think taxpayers really appreciate that, having the warrant visible on the screen. Is that a laptop that the town has provided, or did Mr. Mitchell provide that himself?
I don't think we've provided it.
It was Chuck's.
Okay, I don't have a laptop. Is there a town laptop that we could use that day?
They could use mine. I'll just bring mine in if you want it ahead of time.
I'll need to be able to email you the warrants, which I'll type up on a PowerPoint. I ironically actually use a very large Android telephone, so I don't even need a laptop anymore. That would be fine. So the coordination with, I believe it's Mr. Young, has typically been the resource at the school, and if he can help with mic setup and all of those things.
Tim might be able to have some insight on, if there's a laptop or something that's available too, so
Yeah.
we can ask him.
Okay. Again, it's the selectmen setup, so I'm just
Yep.
here
Yeah,
to
thanks.
give feedback and
Yeah.
pointers and reminders. Individuals that may be on the ballot, you will want to consider a selectman pro tem. The pro tem acts in your stead on the day of voting and serves in your capacity, because we need a majority of selectmen or selectmen pro tem throughout the day to attend to voting, to observe voting. So again, please email me those individuals and the times you are or are not available, and if you're going to designate a pro tem. The individuals that will be working that day, I'm still working out those details and making sure people are available and trying to add some new faces to those that help on voting day and giving some coaching and teaching. We have a lot of people who've reached out after the last election and asked to participate, so I'm trying to balance all that.
Nice.
Yeah.
Helen, so I will be there for the full day because there's no place I'd rather be on my spring vacation.
Listen, I enjoy working with you on voting day and your support.
I'm just gonna let you know, because I'm up for re-election, I will have to find someone, but it will be guaranteed to snow that day, just to let you know.
No,
I
sorry.
would
No,
really
stop.
rather not, but I appreciate that.
Just let you
I'll be
know,
there
because that's
all
how it usually is.
All day.
Okay.
And I'll probably be finding somebody to cover for me.
Okay. All right.
just let me know the names because I want to make sure I swear them in and officially designate them your pro tem. And I will only do that if you indicate to me that you've designated that you're pro tem.
This is the person I've designated.
Yeah, because they are your voice as a selectman. That's the power of law when you pick that person.
Good.
So it's rinse and repeat essentially. Any questions? I will get there the day before, same approximate time, just to do any finesses. The public works team's been amazing. I've only had to make a couple of adjustments.
Is that for both events? You'll be there the day before for both?
On the day of the deliberative session, I don't think there's a need for me to be there the day before unless you all tell me otherwise with regard to the dialogue with the school and setting up the space. The most important part is the audio resources, being able to see that PowerPoint, and so that we can get the voters' voices.
Tim said he could help you.
He's fantastic. Thank you. All right.
I have a question. It's not related to elections, but to candidates night.
Okay.
Have you reached out to the candidates for fire commissioner?
I don't have a list of all of the candidates,
I
so
can give you that list if you'd like.
I would like the list of all candidates.
Or if you call Catherine Tobine, she'd probably be your best resource, but
Okay.
because there are 2 seats for
Thought we weren't
candidates.
doing.
Okay.
So, and
Oh,
I
we said
talked to 2
school.
last night and I hadn't heard about candidates night in Tilton.
Thought we said both.
I don't know. I remember school. I said no on school.
Thank you.
Because that
You're
was
welcome.
separate.
Thought it was just going to be the town.
Yeah, it was my impression we're just doing town
Right,
only candidates.
right.
So no school board, no.
No, yeah.
Okay.
You have in the past.
What's that?
You have in the past.
I know, but we were thinking about the room available, and that's why we said it 2 weeks ago.
At the EOC.
Hmm. Do you think that there'll be enough room? There's quite a lot of candidates, so you'll have quite a lot of people showing up from Northfield and Tilton for the fire. Do you think that you should have your own or no? That's a question. I don't care either way. It doesn't matter to me. But I'm more concerned with the room, the availability in room.
Yeah, I'm not the moderator for the fire district and I'm not the moderator for the school district. So my focus was on people running for office.
I just know in the past we've had other offices
We have,
come
yeah,
in.
right. We've had it here.
We do one, we should do the other.
If you do
terms of-
fire, you need to
we
do
do do
school,
school
but
as well.
I'm just, there's quite a bit for fire, and then you'll have quite a bit people show up, I
This-
think.
And I think the school board will be quite active in terms of.
Is there a lot running for that
I
too?
think that, but I think also just in terms of the interest in who's running and what they are, how they are campaigning, I will say.
I believe Northfield is having a candidates night on the 1st, maybe.
Of March.
Yeah, but I just threw it out there because I was asked about it last
Okay.
night.
This is definitely an important discussion and an important answer because I'll have to coordinate with the moderator for those other partners.
It doesn't matter to me either way. I don't care. It's just, again, seating.
And
How many
advertising.
can it seat? Do you know? Jeannie, do you know what the seating is at EOC?
100?
100, I believe.
Over 100, I think. Depends. It's surprisingly a large number.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it is. Yeah.
I thought it was like 60 something.
I think if you get all the rows, like if we were to put it up tight, no matter where it was, I remember I think the capacity was 100.
Now, is Northfield having their school board candidates at theirs in the fire district as well? Because, I mean, then we'd just be duplicating. I would think the school board and the fire district would have their own separate one.
In the past, it's been,
But we voted on it last meeting to have just
Yeah,
Tilton.
we did.
I will take away my question to you. I just wasn't aware of that, and I just going based on what we've done in the past. So
So we'll stick with our, we have to stick with our vote too. 'Cause
Okay.
I'm sure Joe would want to chime in on it.
Yeah.
So the The
Town,
night of moderation is just for people running for office in the town.
yes,
Okay. All right,
super.
great.
That's the 28th. Anything else for Helen?
It's too bad.
Okay.
Oh, they'll be asking, where is this one? Where is the school? Where is? That's what's going to happen.
Well, we shall see. All right, well, thank you all.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Take care.
Helen.
You're
Appreciate
welcome.
it.
No problem.
Next on the agenda are Selectmen's reports. I'm up first this week, so I will go right through the rigmarole of the regular ones. Just a reminder that winter parking ban is in effect November 15th to April 15th from 10 p.m. to 6 a.m. No parking on any street. Vehicles will be towed at the owner's expense. Per RSA 39.3, the last day to submit petition warrant articles was on Tuesday, February 7th. There were no petitioned warrant articles submitted. Town elections will be on Tuesday, March 14th at the Winnisquam Regional High School. Polls will be open from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. Town meeting will be on Saturday, March 18th at the Winnisquam Regional High School, beginning at 8 a.m. The one other piece that I have is just good luck to the Winnisquam basketball teams in the next round of the playoffs. And I will pass it along to Mr. Pyra.
That's right. Joe's not here.
Yeah.
I had a piece of paper. It's a short list. Just kidding. This is an update from the Tilton Community Economic Development Committee. We'll be organizing a spring festival in downtown Tilton. It's going to be called Spring into Tilton, a springtime festival. It will be held on Saturday, May 13th from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. In downtown Tilton from Cannon Bridge to Park Street will be closed to traffic. The audience is going to be Tilton residents and families with children. We expect a minimum of at least 200 people to show up. And the purpose is to create a signature event catering to the Tilton residents to celebrate spring and to promote downtown businesses. We're going to have music, refreshments, activities, and more details to be coming shortly. But mark your calendars for another exciting spring event in downtown Tilton.
Can you tell me the date again?
May 13th.
May 13th, okay.
Hint, hint, it's 2 days before my birthday.
Excuse me, it's my birthday.
Oh, and Selectman Ruggles' birthday too. So you can,
I'll bring you a cake.
all right. Just because it came in front of me, I just had a question about this. Are we supposed to, it just says accrued interest on this, but do we,
No idea. I don't know.
anyone know anything about this?
Came from the town clerk tax.
I quickly read it today.
No one signed it yet. That's why I was kind of curious. It just says accrued interest. So
I think the letter states something about, I read through there,
there's a lot
that
of numbers.
they switched
Yeah, but
addresses on the
but
things.
we're putting
and
our signature on something and there's no
Right.
amount.
Yeah.
So
it was in the
I think
letter.
there is an amount there, $80
So
or
it should
something.
be-
That
It
also
doesn't
should be written
match.
on where we sign.
Doesn't match.
it doesn't, there's a back page that says one for one amount, another one for another
It
amount.
was like 80 something dollars.
And then there's another, we sent payment.
So
So this says a interest balance due, but it's not on the form that we have to sign. And I have a hard time putting my signature on something that's not going to be signed. So it doesn't have an amount. It just says accrued
Yeah.
interest. I don't know what that amount is. I understand what the letter says, but it doesn't. So I'm just questioning.
I wonder if it's to the date or something. that
I
has
don't
to be
know.
done.
So I'm just looking for clarification.
Well, it
on that.
accrues daily. So she's just giving you an estimate. She can't give you an exact date, an exact amount. She only can give you an estimate
Well,
as of such and such a date, as of such and such a date.
it's like a closing on a house. You have to
Correct.
get the
Well,
exact date.
it just says date received, so I don't. I don't know, the letter's dated February 15th, so I don't know. That's all I have.
Thank you, Mr. Pirate. Mr. Scanlon.
Ah, hang on.
Oh, sorry.
So I received a request from the Tilton Historical Society to bring this up at the meeting. They're going to be opening up their museum sometime next summer. And previously we had said that we were going to go and display the statue in the lobby, you know, from the Diana and that, but they wanted to get permission to actually display that in the museum at the Tilton Mansion, and just wanted clarification for that to make sure. And I'm going to assume that the thing is that we have a list or something, Jeannie, that they, you know, get, they sign for what they've got in their possession that belongs to the town or something. So would that's okay with everybody? I'm good with it.
Yes.
Yeah,
I'm good,
I think a
yeah.
consensus, and they just fill out the paperwork that they normally do for that. Conservation Commission, so they're going to be continuing some milfoil removal on Silver Lake. So that's all planned. There's, you know, they're keeping up with it, and the funds are being used properly for it and tracked. They're also meeting with Emily Garvin from Winnisquam School District, and they've got some projects for the kids, or the students. They're young adults that are in the high school that are involved with the ag and that, and just on some different work and things that they can do on the conservation land that fits the intention of the conservation land, and also teaches them about it. So she's going to be meeting with the Conservation Commission at their next meeting. And let's see, planning, we met at Tuesday night, and there were applications for reopening of the restaurant that was formerly Jay's Marina. I think there's the Family Tree, Longstone Barbecue, and a few other restaurants that have been there. And the other one, the planning board approved that. And also for 3 apartments above V's and Sarno's property there. So that was approved. The question was of parking. However, Sarno's owns the parking lot that they're letting us use. So
Doesn't matter. They still have to get stickers.
yeah, so they would just be getting stickers for
Correct.
the people, and they'd be utilizing that parking.
All of the businesses are there. They still get stickers because we lease it. So it's no longer Sano's because we lease it.
So they're going to be doing some nice apartments, 3 apartments. They're completely renovating. They're not just opening them up.
Yeah.
So, and that's all
Good,
I
we
have
need
at this
that.
time.
Thank you, Mr. Scanlon. Selectman Constantino.
Yeah, I got a couple items. The executive committee is meeting on February 28th. Public Works came today to remove dog crap from the sidewalk once again. I mean, this is becoming a terrible habit downtown on the sidewalk. It wish that the store owners that have cameras that could see whose dog this is would turn it into the police station, because it's beginning to, it's not where it used to be just where the trees were. Now there's no trees, so now it's actually in the walkway where the people walk on the sidewalks, and nobody's picking up after their dog. and it's disgusting because people are walking in it and it's not very pretty. People need to know that there's a fine for this, an ordinance. So thank you for the highway department once again for doing a not so pretty job. It's well appreciated. I would like to know, I have been asked, the actual cost for this room, lighting, moving the tables, equipment, new equipment, on what it actually costs. So can we get that number, please?
Tim shaking his head. I can get that for you.
Thanks. Also, I received this letter, and I don't know if did anyone else receive a letter from Concord Hospital before I do this?
No.
Okay. Bear with me, I'd really like to read. I think it might be of some interest that we participate, but I'm not really sure. I can't, so that's why I'm bringing it up. It said, "Dear Ms. Constantino, Concord Hospital Health System is embarking on a strategic planning process to establish key focus areas and goals for our future. The results would provide a roadmap for our priority initiatives and annual operating activities. An important first step is to gather input from community leaders in the Capital, Lakes, and Three Rivers regions. To that end, we will conduct leadership conversations to better understand the perspectives of community members and area businesses on the availability and quality of healthcare, the reputation and image of Concord Hospital, its facilities and associated practices, and the future of healthcare in New Hampshire. I would like to personally invite you to participate in the Three Rivers Region discussion, which will be held on Thursday, March 16th, 2023 at 8:30 to 10 a.m. in the Tilton First Room, Tilton School. Refreshments. The discussion will be facilitated by Laurie Story Manso from Story Manso in Hopkinton. Also on hand will be Pamela Pulio, Concord Hospital Chief Advancement Officer, and a representative from ECG Management Consultants who are assisting our system with the strategic planning process. So I don't know, they're asking for a community leader to participate in this. I'm not available on that morning.
What time again?
It's 8:30 to 10 a.m.
What was the date again?
It's March 16th.
March 16th. I think it would be important
Thursday.
for someone to add in healthcare in Tilton and surrounding community.
Let me just double check my schedule.
I'd love to be there, but I just can't.
Thanks, Mr. Pyra.
The day before pre-gaming for St. Patrick's Day.
It's the day before you all get green.
Shirt.
The day before I become O Constantino.
I will.
Here.
I will attend.
You can?
Yeah, I'm on spring break then, so I will be in attendance. Thank you. Yeah, I have put it in.
Okay, and I inadvertently disposed of my list of people that are doing the warrants, and in the final draft of the warrant. So if someone could send that to me, that would be greatly appreciated. That's it for me.
Would it be in the minutes?
Mhm.
I didn't see it in the minutes, but
I don't remember which ones they were, so.
Mr. Chairman,
Mr. Scanlon.
could we have, I don't know if the town clerk or Tim weigh in on why it just says accrued interest on these forms and not a specific number, so we can process them if they, because we're refunding accrued interest, we'd want to not keep it accruing because we didn't sign it.
I'm not, I haven't seen, other than, I think there was a schedule that the tax collector put in there.
Yes.
And it would be that plus whatever was done since she had run that report. So it would be under $100. I would imagine if someone said it was $80 earlier, it would be maybe $82 tomorrow and so on and so forth.
So I guess why I'm asking is, Eric brought it up that there's not an official amount, just as accrued interest. Is that, Eric rightfully so, he's asking for a specific amount or what it is that we're refunding. So I'd like to see if somebody could clarify that so we could process this for the.
That would probably be the tax collector would be best to,
Well, she could.
I think they've left tonight, but I'm not that familiar with what was put down on there.
Did you see the form? Or, I don't know. Or because it says finance gets it too.
I get them
Finance,
after
yeah.
you sign them. I don't see them beforehand.
Well, I'm just saying because it does, I feel it says accrued interest and that's the amount, that's what we're actually paying is only accrued interest.
I think
Which
in the
has to be approved.
future, we can ask her, I think we did ask Cindy in the
Anybody else
past,
wants.
as of such and such a date, could you tell us in future, for future reference, could you please, if you want us to sign, abate an interest, please give us as of today, the meeting day, or as of Friday or Monday when Tim processes it, could you please put that accrued date to that day? And then she could give it to us.
That's correct. In the past, she would
Right.
usually ask when would checks be going out, and then she would add a few days to that, and she would, so basically whatever she would put on the form, it would be that or less, typically. And she would give a buffer,
We
but
can,
there'd be an amount.
we can just ask Tim to ask her to do that next time, that's all. We could do that.
How about now? That's,
We'd have to wait 2 more weeks for meeting if you want to do that. And then it would just, the accrued interest would be 2 more weeks. We could do that and wait. Or we could agree to pay it. We could agree to abate it and have her work up an exact number and put it in sign now. We could do that.
and then come in and sign it. So I didn't know if it's a urgent thing.
I don't think
Costs
it's
us a
that, I
couple
don't think
bucks
it's
a
that
day.
urgent. Do you think it's that urgent? It's been a year now,
It's true.
right?
Yeah.
From the letter, I think it's a year,
No, you're right.
2022.
So let's look to have a more specific number at the next meeting. So.
Or put it in an exact number and put it in sign now for
That too, yeah.
for that day whenever Tim's going to process the check.
That's fine with me on the sign now piece. The rest of the board?
I can watch for it.
Okay. Eric,
But I make a motion that we abate the interest.
motion. We got a motion. I'll second. Motion is second on abating the interest. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. So next up is the town administrator's report.
There's a letter in your to be signed file. This is for the Household Hazardous Product Collection Program for the summer 2023. It will either be on July 29th and or August 5th. The cost to participate is $3,208, which was the same as last year. So if you want to participate, please sign the letter.
I have a question on that, Jeannie. Do we happen to know how many people from Tilton participated and actually brought things to the hazardous waste? Do they have a way of counting that? No.
Don't-
Okay.
I don't know.
I don't know.
The next on the action items is the survey for Morrison Avenue. After 2 months of soliciting bids for a survey, we have one bid proposal from Richard Bartlett and Associates for $4,950. The other two companies were contacted, solicited, but we received no bids. So I wanted to bring this to the board to see if you want to move forward and sign the contract with Bartlett and Associates. And if you do, I'd ask you to sign the contract.
I'd say yes. Doesn't look like we have many other options.
Nope, I'd say yes. I'd say yes as well.
Do we want to decide on the household hazardous waste collection too?
Mhm.
Consensus?
I think it was in
Oh,
here.
a decision before we sign it.
It was in there.
I'll say yes.
Yes.
Yes, yes.
Okay.
And yes on,
Yeah, I'll make a motion that we obtain Richard Bartlett and Associates for the survey for Morrison Avenue for $4,950.
second. Motion and second. Any discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
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 Opposed? Motion passes.
We also have a bid from Keach Nordstrom Associates for the survey work for the land surveying and engineering services for the sidewalk extension. This is from Riverfront Park to connect the Riverfront Park to the Winnipesaukee River Walkway, which is the new fence area where the True Green accident was. This was something that we have been talking about. It is in the economic development plan. It is the only section that does not have a sidewalk from Riverfront Park down to Tilton Island Park. So we had budgeted 10,000 for it. That came in at 6,500.
I have a couple questions.
Selectman Constantino.
When you say budgeted 10,000, is that with ARPA money?
No,
Do you, so this is the walkway from where True Green accident was. Does it go up to the factory?
it starts where the sidewalk ends, on Riverfront Park where the yellow bollards are,
Mhm.
right at the east side. It ends, it would connect that down to the walkway, which Kevin will be doing this summer. It's where the new fencing went in and the lampposts are going. So it's a section right beginning at Riverfront Park and down to the walkway of the new
So
extension.
it goes in front of the Endless Belt factory,
I don't know what the Endless Belt factory is.
the brick building,
Where La PS is. Yes.
Yeah, that was a
the
farm
brick
accident.
building.
Yes.
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 Where the
The
dumps,
red-
I think there's a
red brick
dumpster
building.
fence.
Um,
Yeah.
Just on
The
this.
brick building is
Okay.
private property?
According to DOT, I think, weren't you with us out there?
Yeah, I was.
With
Yeah.
DOT?
Yeah.
It is, the section that we're talking about is in the right of way. It's
Correct.
So there are a lot of questions about it, but I don't believe it is private property according to DOT, and that's
Yeah.
one of the reasons we're having the survey done.
Yeah. Like, it's
But
where the
you're
dumpster-
saying survey and engineering.
Mhm. Because if we're going to create a sidewalk,
But if you have the survey and it's private property, we can't spend taxpayers' money on private property.
Yeah, right there.
according to the New Hampshire DOT,
Hmm.
it is not private property. Scott, you were there?
Correct, yeah.
Okay.
I believe that they said that there was a right of way through that section. That was a great weather day too.
So it's belongs to DOT then.
I cannot answer that question until the survey's done. The survey to see where the property lines are. I don't know.
So we're going to spend money that we don't know who owns that property.
That's why we're doing the survey, to find that out.
So we're going to spend $6,500 to find out who owns the property.
According to DOT, it is not the private property owner. I think it's town right of way. Is that, Scott?
Correct, yeah. And they, I mean, when we were discussing with them, and we were out there for too long, but we were out there was no, I do not recall them balking at the idea of a public walkway there. There was no, they didn't say, no, you can't do this. You have to have massive state approval, et cetera. So they talked about the fact that it was, the right of way was there for the town to be able to use.
Then why did we go down just a little bit further and make sure that Mr. Cropsey was involved in the fencing because that was his property?
I think down at that end, it was his property where the fence turned into a gate was his.
We're continuing with that in front of his property.
Not according to the state.
Before we spend $6,500 of the taxpayers' money, do you think that we need to get more definitive answers
I
on
don't know.
this?
I don't know. That's what they're suggesting. I don't know how you get more definitive answers until you do a survey to see. So, I mean, if the board does not want to create that walkway,
It's not a question of wanting to. I would love a walkway there, but I don't want to spend taxpayers' dollars on somebody else's land. We can't do that. And I'm not going to spend taxpayers' dollars on DOT's land, because that's not what we're here for.
John?
So is this, it's not just surveying, or is it just surveying?
surveying and engineering.
Engineering, that, like laying out where the sidewalk would be, the
Yeah.
width, the grades.
Drainage, grade,
Drainage and
all
all
that
that.
stuff.
And, okay, so that, yeah, when I look at 65 for just surveying, that seemed a little up there. Now, the next thing is, now DOT, they don't do any type of designing or anything. I know they have all engineers and all that, and they were very specific about where we put sidewalks in before, the handicap, and how they had to be, and they had specific plans that they provide us for the tip downs on handicap crossing and that. Is there any reason why they wouldn't provide any engineering for
No.
and requirements at all? That it's up to us?
You can speak to it. You met with them.
Yeah, the one thing I believe would have, if we got it done and they wanted to present the plan, I think they may have to approve the plan because it's next to the road. But otherwise, in terms of it being our piece to design and maintain, my guess is that there would have to be approval, like the crosswalks and things like that, final approval from them.
So we're going to spend the money for an engineer to survey and engineer, and we need to get final approval from the state on what it looks like, yet it's going to be our money.
Well, it's just like the walkway from Winter Street to Riverfront Park. The state has to be involved in that. Too. So, I mean, at the end of the day, it's for the residents, it's for the taxpayers to be able to get from Riverfront Park to Tilton Island Park.
If this is a state right of way, the state has a lot of surveyors that work for the state. Why can't they come out and survey it?
They're not going to do that.
You can't use your mojo on that and get them to come out? and survey it. Work your magic.
I think that would be tough because it only serves our community. I know what you're saying, but
Or mark their property.
What's happening with the rest of the sidewalk from T-Hop in front of Casamigos, which has been deemed a hazard, a trip hazard?
Kevin is working on that this summer.
You folks can all outvote me, but I just can't seem to spend taxpayers' money for something that doesn't belong to us.
I know we've done crosswalks and that, and the state says that we can't. And then can we give them some type of conceptual and ask them to put in writing that they're going to allow us to do this before we spend the $6,500? And we're designing something on somebody else's property, and they could essentially say, no, we don't like it because they did that with our crosswalks and things too. So
He could very well design this, and the state could very well come back and say, no, we want this, 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 and this.
or or if they have any specific requirements, just as like the bridge around, or not the bridge, but the road around the stone wall, they require setbacks for safety for telephone poles, how many feet from the street they want it to be, how close will they allow the sidewalk be to the street and all that. So if we spend all the money on the design without getting their specifications, how does all that work? Besides because we've had verbals from the state on many things before and got caught holding.
Right.
The bill for it.
I actually think it will be a safer sidewalk than what's in that area now, because I'm gonna picture that it's gonna have to be curbed. So the sidewalk across the street, which runs immediately adjacent to a state road, is level with that state road. So there's no separation. Where here, there's probably going to be, to continue it down, is probably going to be curbed because it's curbed on that whole side of the road. So I think it's actually going to be safer.
I couldn't agree with you more. The issue
curb in
is paying taxpayers' money for somebody else's property.
It's a catch-22 because
Mhm.
you damned if you do, damned if you don't, but we don't know unless we survey it. It's just like on the one above. That's why we're doing it, to find out where things are. We're spending money to survey.
But we own that.
But our plans for doing certain things, we're going to find out if we can do it or we can't, because if it's on private property, we may not be able to do some of the things that we want to do on that road.
We're doing that road to find out if the houses are on our road, not the opposite.
It's like that missing. Sorry, John, go ahead.
Yeah. I'd like to I just have seen so many things from the state that they back out of, or they don't allow, or they switch up. I'd like to see something that they say, go ahead and do it in writing. And if there's any, like if we're going to put granite curb in, who's going to pay for the granite curb for the road? Is that the state's responsibility, or is that us? Because granite curbing's expensive. I think something in writing from the state as to outlining whose responsibilities for or what. and if there's any special requirements that they or the design. It's 65 just to survey it and do the drawings and that for it and engineering, but then we'll have to pay for materials, whether it be curbing, asphalt,
We're
and
not,
then
we're not building it
pitches.
with 6,500. We're just finding out.
Yeah,
No, we're
I
finding out.
know that.
We're not building it.
I know. That 65 just to look at, make the plans, because we have other things. We have grading. We might have to have retaining walls because this
That's what
dumpster
the
is right
engineering
there.
service is going to determine for us. But we don't know any of that until we do something.
I'm going to suggest we table this until we have Joe Jessamine here as well. So, because I'm sure that he would like to step in, but I'd like to table it till Joe is back with us.
Okay, the next item is pets in the workplace policy and agreement revisions. I sent this to you a while back.
Yes.
You should have a hard copy in your file, and I sent it to you via email as well.
Is the hard copy today or is it past? I know you gave us a hard copy before.
Well, you should have there should be one in for
Do you want
today.
to see it? All right.
Well, here we go. I know I see.
I see that. I've got the digital.
Yeah,
copy right
okay.
here.
Yeah, that's fine. I'm okay with it.
I just got to change that to 2022.
Yep. I was okay with it. Just wanted a refresher.
I'm good. Jeannie, just a note, it's still list 2022 on the, I've got the digital copy here. Just as it entered into on blank 2022. In terms of the dating, I believe.
Well, what I have here, hard copy, says 2023. So
Okay.
I don't know what you're looking at.
So I was the digital one that was sent through.
The digital one is the last issue?
Hold on. No, nope, I've got this one. Yeah. This one, there it is.
So what would the last amendment be?
2223.
No, not, that's this one. This is the proposed amendment, but the previous issued one.
Well, you've got the red line or the green line, so it shows you what it was and what we're proposing to change it to.
The one that says adopted 2021 is actually the one that was amended in 2022. What's
Right.
the date?
Right.
So this one is a copy of the 2022 version or the 2021 version?
This is the 2022. If we're not ready to look at this, we can look at it another time.
I'm ready to look at it.
Yeah, I am too.
I was okay with it.
Well, I'm still confused because I'm looking, the copy that I have here that's we're looking at, revised 2/23, is actually a revised copy of the 21 Is there a
That's it.
difference between the 21 and the 22 version?
Right.
They're both the same?
Yep.
There's no changes. Okay.
Selectman Constantino.
I've read this and I thought long and hard about this, and as a extreme lover of dogs, can't even believe I'm going to say this. We have a policy tried, and it has some bumps and some failures. And this revision is, I think it sets it up even more to fail. I'm going to make a motion that there's no pets in town hall, public buildings whatsoever. It doesn't work at all. That also includes the town clerk.
Can I get some clarification on your motion? You said all public buildings or just town hall?
Public.
Which would include police department?
Just for clarification, because you said whatsoever, so does that mean that if I was bringing my dog in to register it, I can't bring my dog into town hall?
Nope.
Nope.
Okay, I'm just,
That causes just as many problems as we do with pets in the workplace. There's always an unknown to any dog here in a building. There are people that come in that are allergic, could be behind in a line. Someone behind in a line could turn around and quickly, and a dog reacts. We don't know. They're always unknown factors. And we have liabilities to those unknown factors.
I'm going to second that for discussion.
Motion and a second. Discussion.
Mr. Chairman.
Yes, Mr. Scanlon.
So I'm thinking more that at the PD, if you have such as enclosed areas where the public do not have any access to, and it's just employees only, or that it's a different situation, and it's not people coming in and out, the general public coming in and out of those locations, and that it seems like any place has public access, and particularly town hall, the public works department, which has people in and out through most of the building. But I feel that at the PD, that we have them on a trial basis down there with the chief. And as far as I know, everything has been working there. And so I'm going to make an amendment to that motion to just apply to town hall.
So define public, because you have people that come in for arrests and things like that meet with the officers, meet with the detectives, meet with the chief, whatever. They come in and out of that building just as other people come into town hall. So
It's a much more secure environment as opposed to somebody who just walks in through the front door. Here, they can walk anywhere through the building because it's all public areas, and come upstairs, come downstairs, and visit the various offices, which doors are commonly kept open. Whereas in the police department, and I think that their pet policy should be specific about where publicly or what areas they're allowed in or not, and that. But people are contained from either they're going to be transported through a sally port in through or through the front door and entered into like the investigation offices and stuff like that that are very secured areas. And I think that's a little more controllable because people aren't just walking in and out. And that's my thoughts on it, that it would be more controllable and leave that up to the chief with it because they could be kept in a lot more controllable. And that's that at the PD is only on trial basis, as I believe. I think we extended it for 60 days or something. Then address that situation.
I think we need to be very, very careful because if you're going to have employee rights, that saying that only one place can have it and others can't could run us into some significant issues. So if it's going to be like that for one, then it should be like that for the rest. So technically, as we sit across from the land use office, people could come to the land use window and there could be, someone could have their animal secured in the land use office. So, town clerk, tax collector, in their space downstairs, they can isolate by having the doors closed. They could have their animal down there if someone wanted to have it. So to say that it would only be one department could have it, I think it walks a very thin line. So it would have to be, in my opinion, it would have to be either all or none.
You mean the building?
Correct. Yeah. So yeah.
So what,
Yeah.
so are you saying town hall, no, and police, yes? So that's building?
I'm
Or are
saying
you
if we're
saying
going, I'm saying if we're going
across the board?
Yeah, across the board. If we're gonna, if we're gonna say, if we were gonna say town hall no and DPW no, then it needs to be no with the PD too. But if we're gonna say yes, then it would be yes across the board as well.
And I think John has a good point it is a little bit more controlled environment, and I think he does have a good point there. But when we talk about being consistent with employees, we really need to be more consistent with employees. And we really need to do that. But I'm only one person.
So I didn't have a second on that, so
But
go back at the original.
Back to it, yeah. It's back at the original motion.
Which was, just for a refresher?
It was no pets,
No
at
pets.
all in any of the public,
no pet policy.
in any of the town buildings.
Gotcha.
Correct, Pat?
Right, no
Okay.
pet policy, right. Therefore, no pets in the workplace.
Any further discussion?
So I do have further discussion. What is the procedure for service animals? Is that not excluding service
That's
animals?
excluding
That's an
services.
exclusion. Yeah.
Okay.
That's a
an
law.
ADA.
Right, that's a law.
ADA.
So that doesn't affect it. It's
No.
just
Right.
We can't,
normal
we
pets,
can't touch
not
that.
service animals.
I'd like to put a time frame on that because I think that people are very comfortable coming in, particularly now doing dog licensing and things like that. I think that Kim would have to need a certain amount of time to notice folks not to bring their animals in.
Wait, I thought you just,
Note on the door.
I thought you
saying-
just said that dogs would be allowed to come in. If I was bringing my dogs in, I could bring my dogs in still.
No, she said no, not even
I
that.
thought,
No.
Correct, no.
Mm-mm.
so no one can bring their dogs in anymore. Okay.
That's what the motion is
But I thought
suggesting.
that, I asked for clarification on that. I thought you said that if someone was bringing their dog in to register the dog, they would still be allowed to.
No, there would still be a liability, is what I was saying. If you think about it, if there's two people in line trying to register their dogs or licenses and they don't get along, or if there's two people in line trying to register their vehicles and all of a sudden somebody gets startled by one and they turn around and nip, now we're in trouble. Now it's a liability. It hasn't happened, thank God, but it could.
So Pat, are you suggesting if this passes that there'd be a date when it starts?
Right.
Okay.
It should have a date that starts so that,
Start date.
right.
Okay.
We could have Kim notified, just put a notice or something up to just say,
I'm just going to throw this out there for a, no. Take that back.
not going to be a friendly household, I can tell you that.
I hate to put this out there again, but should we wait on Joe on this one?
Well, judging from the way he felt the last time, I
Yeah.
can tell you where he's going to go with it. Yeah, we can wait.
Wouldn't that be a
I'm
motion to
not-
table?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Somebody
I'll
wants-
withdraw my motion.
Or do you want to just make a motion to table that
Yeah.
until?
All right, we'll table it. Motion to table.
Second, motion and a second to table the pet policy discussion until Selectman Jessamyn's here.
All right, next item is
Yeah,
the
aye.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
School Street entrance and the lights.
I have a question.
Selectman Constantino?
The brick, putting it up on the brick, does that constitute putting a conduit up?
I would think so.
Then I'm in favor of putting it up over the door.
Mr. Pyro?
I have a question for our IT department on this. Just looking at the two, I don't know if you've seen the pictures that are included in our,
Yes,
I was outside, I think, when the pictures were taken, yeah.
okay. So there's one that I'm assuming it's over the doors, it's the green doors. And I'm just based on the angle, I'm not sure if that is blocking the cameras and there, would that bright light make those cameras ineffective?
Let me see. Yeah, I think that was the one when we were looking at it, we had pretty much decided that it, light or not, the shape of it was going to be in part of the field of view of the camera. I didn't actually go in and look on the cameras when he was holding it up there, but it's pretty good sized light.
You just can't tell with the angle, so I don't.
Yeah.
I really like the way it looks on the brick.
Beautiful,
It looks
beautiful
fantastic.
fixture. It's gorgeous.
And I know Selectman Scanlon was really concerned about aesthetics and how that looks, and I think that looks like 1800 in a way. I don't know if I'm going back far enough, but
That would be
that would be mint.
gas.
I don't know.
So do we have a motion to reconsider our previous decision?
We undo more of our decisions. It's sickening, actually. We made a decision, if this was done, I don't know how many times we've spoken about this, and we said we didn't want conduit on the building, and you pick a light that is going to need conduit on a building because it's too big now to block a camera. So you have no choice but to move it. How does that happen?
So I can tell you that the light and how it affects the camera. What happens is at night, if the light is on, what it does is it turns everything into daylight. So it's not an infrared. It comes a color picture. So all you would be able to see is anything that's illuminated by that particular light. Anything on the fringes of that would be not infrared lit up. And
We-
that would be the difference, unless it's the other things are lit up by other infrared lights.
We didn't know this before we bought the light and spent the money. Now we have the light and we have no choice but to put it up where we need to put it up.
We haven't purchased these lights.
This is his light.
Yeah, he had them in, these were the ones from, looked like his garage or shop with a picture.
He
that
doesn't have
showed us.
another light to put over the door.
Well, again, we haven't made any motions to reconsider it. We did make a decision to go ahead and to do it the previous way.
I give up.
I mean, the other thing too is that, it is possible maybe the one camera that faces that area of School Street could be relocated to the other side of the light. That's a possibility.
Which would be even more money. And we certainly know how much they cost an hour.
Tim, if I zoom in closely on it, it looks to be that there's flexible conduit that connects those two cameras.
Yes.
You can come if you want to see it. Yeah. So I'm just wondering if the adjustment.
Right,
I don't know if
and
it
that's
would,
what
I don't know if it would come above the line of the light.
Well, the other thing would be that it could be moved,
Okay.
but going through the inside, but it would require service and
Yeah, another expense. Yeah. Okay.
If this picture, you're looking at that one, Scott.
Yeah, I have that
Yeah.
one too. Yeah.
So presently, you can see on the camera, the top box there would be the feed for that, and the other one is just the
right, it's piggyback.
comes up, yeah,
Yeah,
and the piggyback. So what it would mean is you could take that one and move it above, but have that. But it is significantly 4 feet above it. Like I say, you'd still see everything, but wait.
I know we don't, I gotta get closer for Gail. Sorry. I know we don't want conduit, but if I'm looking at the outside picture of the two doors in the window. I'm wondering if above the granite capstone on the door, on each door, if there's enough space to put the light above that, which would mean could mean a minimal conduit run underneath and straight up. That would also raise it up above the camera. And then it would look, in terms of, it would be fairly aesthetically pleasing. But, I know we want to stay away from conduit running across, and I get that. But I wonder, can we come to the happy medium where there's a minimal conduit run straight up into the bottom of that light? Jimmy, you want to see what I was talking about? Because I'll be candid, that board that he has it on over that double door is an eyesore too. I mean, that was a couple of 2x4s, 2x1s popped in there and had it looks like an old light on it.
It's like a shop project.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
Looks like a shop
Yeah.
project, but put it there.
Yeah, above the capstone.
And if you ran conduit on the down
Well, the
into
question
groove
is
there.
can you run it up
I don't know.
straight up underneath? Yeah, I don't know.
You shouldn't run through the, where the keystone is in that arch.
No, I'm talking about just going through the brick.
Where?
He attaches it.
You know, and one of the things I do look at is because we have those wonderful awnings that we do put up, but in the off season, you can see the 3 metal holders above each window for those awnings. So that's why I was just thinking, just a subtle conduit run
Wait,
is.
I have a question. Don't awnings go above those?
So no, there's
In the
no
warm weather?
brackets. There's no brackets on those. They go above the windows. Correct.
That's
Correct.
right.
Yeah, it's just above the windows.
They don't go above the doors?
Mm-mm. Not that they help in Jeannie's office anyways.
There's one that impedes that one camera somewhat when the awnings are up. The view over the ramp area.
So it would be good to move the camera up higher anyway. I'm fine whatever you decide, as long as we get lights up there. I really don't care.
I'm not taking that one on.
I really don't.
I've got warrant article 3. You guys can figure out what's acceptable on the lights.
I think we should need to put faith into our leadership and let them make the best decision for what works best at the least cost to the town of Tilton.
And the most safety.
Well, I think Joe should be here. We didn't. First, we don't have a motion to reconsider a decision that was previously made. We just continually, we make decisions. This will be the third time decisions are switched and everything. So
So the next time a selectman is absent, why don't we just cancel the meeting? Because we keep putting decisions off, and then when we make a decision when a selectman's not here, then we undo the decision the following time.
Yeah.
We just keep doing this. We just do round robin all the time. Well,
and I'm strongly against conduit being mounted on the building. It just, I've seen what it looks like on that facade, in the front facade of the building, putting steel conduit on it like that. I'm opposed to it.
I don't like conduit on this building either, John. I don't. We need to have lighting for the safety of the employees. Whatever they decide, I think that we need to let it go. It's going to be decided on. We've had 4 meetings on this already.
We have boxes right there where the lights previously been on there. You can see facing our building like that with the conduit.
How much more money is it to put it in the bricks?
I don't know. I didn't ask that question because I wasn't directed to. I just brought it back to the board.
But we don't have all the answers, so.
Well, our direction was
If
to
it's
put
different
those, we
monies to
picked
do
out
that.
lights. We picked out lights. We decided on it. We made the decision. Joe was here. He was against having the conduit and all that. And now we're saying we don't want to do that.
I don't think there's too many people that want the conduit, Joe.
Yeah.
John, I mean. But I just, I think the alternative is to move the camera up and put them over the windows.
Over the windows?
Right. Where this picture depicts the window. In the window, the second picture. Do this, but move the camera up.
Oh, over the doors.
Over the door, I'm sorry,
Oh,
but that,
okay.
they look like windows to me. Yeah, over the doors.
So if we put them up where we decided and see if
And
there's
then
a
just
problem
move
with
the
the cam,
camera up.
if there's a problem with the camera, and then we'll address that.
I'm sorry, what did you, I was looking at historic pictures of the building.
The one with Josh in the picture.
Okay.
And then just,
And move the cameras.
yep,
Okay.
if needed be.
I'm
if
fine with
need
that.
to. Yep.
Yep.
Oh, there's two pictures of Josh in it. Okay. Over the doors.
Gotcha. Okay.
No
Yep,
conduits.
I'm fine with that. No
So
conduit.
nothing changes.
Gotcha. Okay.
Right. Then if we need to address the camera situation, we can address the camera situation.
I'm good with that. Mr. Pyra?
Just get it done.
There we go. Okay. Just what he's got where it's over the doors, and then we'll figure the camera stuff out later if we have to.
Next item is purple bag sales. The DPW director would like to have a small supply at the transfer station because people don't have them, and he's having to turn them away, and he'd like a small inventory there and keep a official inventory and have receipts. I did talk to Tim about it. He was in agreement with this. But, and at the time I talked to him, he had suggested that the selectmen revisit the price per bag. But afterwards, he did some more analysis or researched a little bit and felt like that wasn't needed at this point, that you're making enough on the what you're paying for the bags and what you're charging for the bags.
That's correct.
So that he didn't feel like there was any need to increase the price.
Make a motion that we allow the DPW director to have a supply of purple bags at the transfer station.
Second, motion and second discussion.
So,
Go ahead, John.
we still have quite a few left. We had a whole pallet at the DPW now. So actually, he's just asked for permission to sell them at the DPW.
Yes.
They're downstairs now? Okay, all right.
Will it be cash only transaction on that? Just so that if we do
It
it.
wouldn't have to be.
Okay.
I mean, somebody could write a check.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, got it.
Yeah,
But
for a check, right.
it wouldn't be debit card. It's
No.
Okay. So it would
Not
be
at the
cash or
transfer
check,
Cash
just
or check, yeah.
just to make sure that we publicize it so that the folks know to show up with cash or check. Okay. Good. Anything else? All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Good.
Okay, next item is the update of the administrative assistant job description. This is just a housekeeping item. You recall a while back, primarily the position changed because we deleted or eliminated the assistant welfare director duties. And as well, she does not attend the meetings anymore, the selectmen meetings. So these updates reflect those changes so that this is a more accurate of what she does.
Make a motion, we update the administrative assistant's job description.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
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 Opposed? Motion passes.
Next item is a special recognition award. We have now this year Community Service Award, and new this year is a Special Recognition Award. And I wanted to check with the board to find out how you want to commemorate that occasion. Do you want a plaque or a special paper certificate?
How did you do it
Plaques.
before?
Plaques.
Was that the glass one or something?
You want another glass one, like the Community Service Award? You want it exactly the same?
Sounds good.
My preference, I'm just
Yeah,
speaking.
I like
these.
those. I like,
Yeah,
they're very
same.
clean. It's very, yeah,
Okay. Eric, you're,
you're good.
I'm
with
good.
that.
okay. All right. The other thing I wanted to mention was I did send out yes, it's time of year that I reach out to the Sarnos to ask if they want to continue their parking agreement with the town. It is a formal agreement, not a handshake, as might have been suggested in a meeting. When she talked to me, she called me and she said that she was thinking she might want 2 to 4 spaces specially designated for her, for this project that you were talking about earlier.
Mhm.
And that would come out of if you remember right now, the formal agreement that the town has is all those parking spaces are available for municipal parking in exchange for the town paying the tax bill on that. So she asked me that, and I said, well, I would bring it back to the board. I would imagine that, just for an instance, if there are 10 parking spaces and she's taking 5 back, that whatever that percentage is, that you would adjust the tax bill by that, because you're losing those parking spaces for municipal parking. Now, what I heard earlier from a conversation is that it's not being designated for those, which is not at least what she had communicated to me. So I don't know where there's the disconnect in what's actually happening with the parking.
We've never given them, Jeannie, special, see how we rephrase this. When we first took over leasing the property, gave them stickers. I think there were 2 stickers that were designated, like to Gabriel's, Gabriel's was the hair salon that was down there. And there was another business, TV business that was there, Orbit, I think. Anyway, and that's what we did, but then they weren't there any longer, so that went by, and the owners bought their own stickers, and that's how it's been. They would get their own stickers, and that they had the freedom to go anywhere in that parking space, just like as anyone else did.
I'm not sure if they're doing that, because she didn't mention that to me. My only point in telling you this or bringing it up is because I had heard that there was this thought that there was just a handshake deal, and it's not, it's actually an agreement. And that you sign every year with
Right.
her and her husband. And so what she wanted to know is, if she wants to take back 2 to 4 spaces for these apartments, is the board amenable to that? And my comment to her was, I will bring it forward. They may want to adjust what they pay in the tax bill because they're
Right.
losing parking spaces.
So do you think that the handshake deal that they're thinking about was the stickers or the whole leasing?
I wasn't at the meeting. I only read the minutes. This was from the planning board meeting.
No, when you talked to Mrs. Sano.
Oh, she knows it's an agreement. It was somebody
she-
else who said that it was a handshake
Oh,
deal.
no, it's an agreement.
Yeah.
It's been an agreement right from the get-go. I don't know who said that,
I
but
would
it's
I would
always been
expect, yeah, I would expect with a tax exception, it could not just be a handshake, so.
right. Yeah, it's an agreement. But I would think that it's an all or nothing agreement. If we have, it's either 37 or 39 spaces that we have from them. 6 of those spaces are allocated for fire. So now we're down to, 31 or 33, depending on how many is out there. And they want to take 4, now we're down to 27. That significantly drops our ability to, and it depends on which 4 they want, because now if we do that, they would want specific 4. And it's probably the 4 that we 4 out of the 6 that we designated for the fire, and they can't have those because we've already designated them to the fire. So now it becomes an issue. So I would say, my own opinion, it's either we have the agreement or we don't have the agreement.
Mr. Pyra?
Just because of recent memory, I believe if there was 4 designated spaces, just looking at the lot, I would say or recommend that it be spaces against the back along the railroad tracks, because number one, if you're going to have to put signs in, which should be provided for by them, not paid for by the town of Tilton.
I did mention that.
Also, snow removal. The town would not be responsible for removing the snow from those 4 spaces. So they would be responsible for maintaining in the winter maintenance on those 4. And then we're going to get into line painting. We've all had recent memory where we've had these issues come up. And here's going to be another situation. Now it's the opposite. It's not town land. The town actually leases this from the landowner. So, but so how do you do it? Because versus just giving them 4 parking permits that designate those 4 spaces for whatever they are, and they can park wherever they want. And then, then we're still going to maintain all of the winter maintenance on the parking lot, and they just get 4 stickers.
The back wall is for overnight. Okay, so just be specific. And if it's for the project that they're thinking of, those people are going to be overnight.
Yeah.
So that whole back wall on both sides of the station is for overnight.
That's how the town has it set up, though. That's
Correct.
not how is it Sarno?
Right.
Sarnos have it set up.
Right.
So it's.
But if you, even if you designate it, give them 4 stickers, they have 4 apartments, 4 stickers. You have to tell them the back wall. I mean, if it's during the day, fine, but the back wall overnight,
Yep.
it's going to need to be the back wall. That's all. But you have a very good point, Eric. Excellent point. And that probably could be negotiated.
I can just see them in a driving snowstorm. There go all the signs.
Well, I totally agree with you. And if they're on the back wall, it's going to be easier to plow.
Yeah.
But specifically, if it's up above these, they can go to the back wall over by where the seals are. It's going to be much easier for them.
Mr. Scanlon?
Yeah, I like the thoughts that Jeannie had on it, with that if it's going to be reduced in the amount of parking spaces and size, that we would obviously, if the town didn't have use of those spots, that we cannot not taxed for that. That is their exclusive property. And also along with Eric, that, that we would not reduce the tax bill for that, nor would we provide, because we can't, snow plowing, maintenance, signs, and for the other. But if she just wanted to, or the owner just wanted to go and issue permits, the 4 permits, that's fine. You know, first come, first serve on public parking, just like the other people in the apartments up there, and they follow the regular rules with everybody else. Makes sense?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I thought. I don't want to go all or nothing. I think we can work together on that other thing. She does have, or
Well,
the owner, property owner does have other options because they did create some green space. And if they want to turn those into private parking, that was never part of our maintenance or our, that they could actually change that back into parking as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, that green space there. Yeah.
John, all or nothing meant that we couldn't take 4 spaces and dedicate it specifically to them
Mhm.
and then reduce that without what Eric is saying. So we couldn't say no and then go ahead and do that. I was trying to articulate this in a way. What I'm saying is all or nothing. There's no easy way to say, take the 4, and we can work around that for the reasons why Eric is saying, because we're not going to maintain it, we're not going to plow it, we're not going to stripe it, we're not going to do this, we're not going to do that, because now they own those spaces. And where are those spaces going to be? Okay, because we already have designated spaces for the fire, because that would be the closest to the venue where they want them to be. That's the closest to that door, the back door. So the easiest would be to get 4 stickers, $60 a year.
And
That would be the easiest. How much are stickers now? Did they go up? Do we know? I think it's $15 still. So $60. It would be much easier to do that. After Jeannie explains that they would own it, plow it, maintain it, stripe it, it would cost them a lot more than $60 if they just got 4 stickers.
4 stickers.
Yeah.
Right,
Join in with the.
right.
A lot more.
So my other option was also to mention that if they want to have those, that green area as parking, then they could do that because that's not part of our agreement now. It's not part of our included parking.
Where they have that,
Yeah.
that's a drain there,
Well, there is the French train thing
right?
that goes along, but there's the dirt area that could be put back into pavement and use, because we're not, that's not part of our,
You'd get a
parking
half
area.
a space out of that.
I'm just saying that's, you know, to have
I
a
get
whole
you.
fleet of smart cars there.
Sounds like
Compact cars.
good,
Yeah.
good motorcycle parking.
There you go. Anyway,
Okay, so we're with keeping it the same agreement,
and just
Same
issue
agreement and
stickers.
let-
stickered parking.
Right, and let Jeannie explain what they would be, what the options are, I should say.
Perfect.
Eric had some very good points.
Yes. Super.
You want to call it a day?
Just wrap it up.
Yeah, wrap it up. We'll call it a day.
Anything else?
Quit while I'm
Any
ahead.
all set?
All set?
Okay. Next, we'll move on to approving minutes from 119, 126, 22, and 27.
Thank you.
Make a motion, we approve January 19th as written.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any discussion?
I did go back and look at the video, and it is the way it was written.
Hearing none, all those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
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 Opposed? Minutes are approved. On to January 26th. This was the article, looking at the warrant articles on the CBA and Tilton Island Bridge.
Make a motion, we approve as written. I didn't see anything outstanding.
Yeah. Ruggles second. Motion and second. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
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 Opposed?
It's in these minutes, Pat, on 2 of 5, second paragraph from the bottom that lists who's taking what article.
4 and 10.
On this one here?
Yeah,
On which dates?
on the second.
February 2nd on the second
On page
page.
2 of 5.
Okay, yeah.
Paragraph just above announcements.
I don't have 2 of 5.
On the back side?
It's the one.
There's like 5 pages of minutes.
Do you have the right minutes? Those don't, or is that February 2nd?
7th. Second?
Yep.
Okay. 2 of 5?
Yep. Second paragraph up from the bottom.
Yep, got it.
Sorry.
Thank you.
Bumper cars over there. These chairs were all so much easier than the old ones.
Now I just need a copy of them. They're online though, right?
Mhm.
Got
On the
it.
warrant.
Got it.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes of February 2nd, 2023.
Second.
Motion and a second. Discussion.
I don't remember you opposing. Okay. I'm fine with it.
Hearing none, all those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
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 Aye. All those opposed?
I'm good with it.
On to February 7th. I'll make a motion to accept the minutes of February 7th, 2023.
Second.
Motion and second. Discussion. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Absolutely the worst. Okay, hold on. Give me a second. I've battled with 3-hole binders since I was like 9.
Pinch them.
No, don't even ask. Can't tell you the number of times I pinched my fingers in it. Next is we have some donations to accept. I'll make a motion to accept a $100 donation to the Tilton Senior Center from the LaPlante family.
Second.
Motion and second. Any discussion? All those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Thanks to the LaPlante family. Make a motion to accept a $25 donation to the Tilton Senior Center from, is it Matty Labor?
Labor.
Labor.
Right.
Good. Matty Labor.
Second.
Motion and second. Any discussion? All those in favor, please say aye.
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 Thank you very much, Matty Labor. I'll make a motion to accept a $380 donation to Tilton Senior Center for utilities from Iris Iano.
Iano.
Iano, thank you.
Second.
Motion and second. Discussion?
Thank you, Iris.
Yep. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you very much, Iris. I make a motion to accept a $50 donation to the Tilton Senior Center from Denny and Jennifer Goodwin.
Second.
Motion and second. Any discussion? All those in favor? Aye.
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 Thank you very much to the Goodwins for that. Is there any new business this evening? Mr. Scanlon?
I just noticed, I don't think we told Helen that we're giving that award. So she has it scheduled in her moderator for the town.
2 awards.
Yeah. So she schedules or says when she'll fit that in. I think we forgot.
Make sure to notify her on that.
And the other thing is I forgot to mention on the 28th, Belmont's having a hearing on the dam and that dam project that they're working on. And
I sent you all an
Yeah,
email.
yeah, oh yeah.
it's public stuff. And that if anybody wants to participate, there's a bunch of information regarding previous studies and all that. I mentioned at the previous meeting that's come out on, and it was voted down in town meetings here in Tilton a couple times as well. That's all I have. It's my add-ons.
There's something with Juliet tonight, sent an email out.
She sent I think she sent a string, well, from what I read, I quickly went through, it was a string of emails regarding the Silver Lake Dam situation and previous discussions
Yeah.
that have been had about it, et cetera. So my quick look at a few of them, it was very informative in terms of some of the recent history
Right.
of it. So we'll thank Representative Bolia for that.
Mhm.
So I'm glad she sent that through. So anything else? Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Motion and second. All those in favor?
I
Aye.
7:13.
believe that's a record.
Did we forget someone?
Oh, really? Yeah. Well, that's neat. Okay.
Scott, were you not going to do, did you not want to
you
do a
adjourn?
presentation? We need to tell Helen that. That's why I sent. Okay, because
So
she's
you-
got to work it into her.
Yeah, I'll let her know.
You're adjourned?
Yep.